Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be taking a dive into r/best of Redditor updates. And we've got like a mini saga today. I was just scrolling through Best of Redditor updates the other day and I saw the title say saga and I thought, right, save this for later, for sure. You will have to excuse me today if my thoughts come across like a fart in a colander because I am so tired. Oh my god, am I so tired? You're gonna have to excuse me if that happens. Anyway. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in listening to with me today, then please do stick around and enjoy! And don't forget to like and subscribe, please, thank you! And of course, quick disclaimer, any opinions that I give on the posts we read are just opinions, not facts, do not need to be taken as such. If you have a differing opinion, do feel free to leave it in the comments below. Just make sure you're keeping it respectful with each other. There is no need to be mean to each other just because you do not agree. With that being said, let's get into it then, shall we? Okay then, so this one was posted to the subreddit by Direct Caterpillar 77, and the title says, "Every job has one, I'm convinced, the Cheryl saga." Ooh, goody. So, of course, Direct Caterpillar is not the original poster. The original poster is u/miserableWillow312. Direct Caterpillar is the person who compiled it together for us like a lovely little bean. And it was originally posted in r/coworker stories, trigger warnings for hostile workplace and homophobia. So yeah, if specifically that last one is something that you cannot deal with today, then do feel free to skip out on this one. I will totally understand. Okay then, so the first post was posted May 19th, 2026. There's a woman at work named Cheryl, and I swear every office has a version of her. She's not openly mean enough to get in trouble, but she somehow makes the entire atmosphere heavier the second she walks into a room. You can literally hear conversations die when she appears around the corner. Oh my goodness, literally every office has one. Every office job I've ever worked has had a person exactly like this. I mean, it's almost like they hire them for a specific reason, like almost like it's important for an office ecosystem or something, I swear. Cheryl acts like she's management despite not actually supervising anyone. She monitors everyone constantly. If someone comes back from lunch a few minutes late, she'll quietly say, "Half days must be nice." Oh, piss off, Cheryl. Get a hobby, love. If someone calls in sick, she suddenly becomes an investigator. They were fine yesterday. I'm sorry, Cheryl, that I ate a really dodgy chicken nugget and now the things coming out of the back end of me are unspeakable and grotesque. I will bear that in mind next time, shall I? She also has this talent for disguising criticism as concern. She'll say things like, "You seem really tired lately. Everything okay?" in front of our other co-workers, so now everyone turns and looks at you like you're falling apart. I am. Mind your business, Cheryl. Let me fall apart in peace, thanks. The break room is the worst. Someone could be talking about a new puppy, vacation plans, or literally anything enjoyable, and Cheryl somehow redirects it into negativity within 30 seconds. Okay, just a theory, but actually maybe Cheryl is an actual honest to God energy vampire. Something to think about, OP. Co-worker, "We're going camping this weekend." Cheryl, "Hope you packed emergency supplies. My cousin got stranded once and almost lost a toe." What? Nobody even knows how to respond to that. Forgiven, yes, understandable. She also keeps tracks of things that no normal person should notice. She remembers exactly how long people take on break, who leaves early, who orders takeout too often, who seems off lately. She never directly accuses anyone of anything, but she says just enough to make people uncomfortable. The strangest part is she genuinely thinks she's helpful. If there's tension in the office that she personally caused, she'll sit there saying, "I just think communication has really broken down around here." Oh god. Meanwhile, everyone is actively avoiding eye contact with her. At this point, people schedule lunches around Cheryl. If someone sees her heading for the break room, they suddenly remember they have emails to finish. New employees usually try to be friendly with her at first, but within about 2 weeks, they develop the same 1,000-yard stare as the rest of us. Now, of course, do I think it would feel nice for Cheryl to be in the office and literally everyone avoids it? No, of course not. But at the end of the day, sometimes you got to sit back and think, who's the common denominator here? Is it me, or is it everybody else that seems to be avoiding me? Everyone's avoiding me. Could I be the problem, you know? Bit of self-reflection, it's healthy. What makes it worse is there's never a big dramatic event HR can point to. It's just years of constant small comments, judgment, negativity, and hovering until the entire office collectively feels emotionally exhausted whenever she's around. I'm not bothered enough by her to leave my long-term employment, but she really does make the work week feel exhausting. Relevant comments. OOP added, I know complaints have been made multiple times in how she treats others, yet HR always says they can't discipline someone just because others don't like her. We don't like her because she's insufferable. And I'm looking at her right now as she licks the peanut butter off her peanut butter cheese crackers wrapper. I really wish she would use some sick days to give us all a break. Oh god. But also peanut butter cheese crackers sounds gopping. That sounds disgusting. I'm not gonna lie to you. Cheese and peanut butter. Ew. Top/best comment. One lonely bestial bee says, energy vampires, see, I told ya. They exist to ruin everything. I'm telling you now. I think if vampires are real, that's what they are. They're not like blood-sucking, sneak into your room, get you infatuated with them despite the fact they look like the bottom of a leather shoe. No, no, no. They are, in fact, just walking around an office somewhere going, well, that's an interesting outfit you chose to wear today. So we have next update, Cheryl strikes again, May 26th, 2026. Sounds like an Oscar-winning film, that does. Cheryl has everyone irritated again, and it's day 1 back from 4 days off. She has this habit of correcting people publicly over the smallest things. This morning, one of the newer staff asked a simple question about documentation requirements, and instead of just helping, Cheryl goes into this long, condescending explanation in front of everyone about how these are the things people should already know before working here. The room got quiet fast. What makes it exhausting is that she constantly presents herself as the only competent person in the office, whilst creating tension everywhere she goes. She'll complain that morale is bad, then spend the entire day gossiping about co-workers, questioning how other people do their jobs, keeping track of coffee breaks, and forwarding passive-aggressive emails instead of just having normal conversations. Aw, Cheryl, what you like, love? The funniest part was right after going off on the new staff. One co-worker finally got a subtle dig in without sounding unprofessional. Cheryl started criticising how the staff member organised their caseload notes, and after Cheryl finished talking, the co-worker just calmly said, I think most people care more about whether the work gets done than whether it gets done Cheryl's exact way. Nobody said a word after that, but a couple of people suddenly became very interested in looking down at their laptops, trying not to laugh. I did a low chuckle before I could stop myself, so I'm sure I'll be under scrutiny from her this week. The wildest part is Cheryl still seems genuinely confused why nobody wants to work closely with her. She said as much right before the morning meeting. People aren't avoiding Cheryl because she's strict or direct. They avoid her because every interaction feels like she's keeping score against them. So, relevant comments. Royal Advance 6985 says, what is Cheryl's role in the company? OOP says she's a caseworker and not in charge of anyone, just a cog in the wheel, but she thinks she's everyone's supervisor. I mean, yeah, that sounds about right, to be honest, doesn't it really? She seems the type. And then Bikini Girl Out says, just quote Cheryl from Archer with, you're not my supervisor. I always hate these types. These types think that they're God's gift just for existing, and they think that they're in charge when they're like, ninth in charge. They also want to extreme overhaul things the second they walk in the door and think the rules will change because they say so. And then the OOP says, it's like she lives for confrontations and just zeroes in on anyone who tries this. I've been at this agency for 24 years, flipping heck, and she's been here a little less, and she's always been this way. I mostly stay off her radar because of my longevity and ability to remain incognito. Honestly, one hell of a skill, especially in the workplace. Get the work done, but still manage to stay off everybody's radar. Gold star. And more on Cheryl. Cheryl is in her 40s, and this is only her second job ever, like she likes to remind everyone. She has this huge sense of entitlement based on her tenure and belief the only two jobs makes her better than others. So next update, Cheryl might have talked herself into real trouble now. So this was 6 days after the last update. I think we finally have something solid for HR to act on. Our agency is a community mental health provider, and we're planning to have a booth at the local Pride Festival this month. Cheryl was assigned to help organise the agency swag and take a shift staffing the booth. During morning staffing today, we were going over the plan when Cheryl looked directly at Katie, the only openly gay employee on our team, and said, I'm not sure why I'm doing all this extra work when you should probably be doing it. It's for your people anyway. Wow. Just wow. Without missing a beat, Katie replied, it's not extra work, it's part of your job. And if everyone followed your logic, nobody would have helped with Black History Month events either. Exactly. Like, are you a human, Cheryl? Yes. So then pull your fucking socks up, my love. And especially when you work in a community mental health provider agency. Yeah, you'd like to think that Cheryl would be a bit more of a compassionate person, and it's scary that people work in those sorts of jobs with that point of view. Cheryl rolled her eyes and said, real causes are fine, made up things are silly. Oh my goodness. Fire her! What a twat. The room went completely silent. The subject was immediately changed to other business. Katie got up right after the meeting and walked to HR. The rest of us already have emails in our inboxes scheduling meetings and requesting written statements about what happened. Again, yeah, because the kind of company they work for, the last thing you want in someone who works there is somebody who is homophobic. My goodness. For the first time in a long time, it feels like Cheryl may have finally crossed a line that even she can't talk her way out of. But unfortunately, the next post says Cheryl once again foils justice. Well, we finally heard back from HR regarding Cheryl telling our openly gay co-worker that she should be the one doing the Pride booth work because she's the gay one and Cheryl isn't. Yeah, let's not gloss over the fact that she said real issues. Was it real issues? Let's just go back quickly. Real causes are fine, but made up things are silly. So why are we glossing over that, HR? What the hell? HR determined Cheryl's comments were inappropriate and unprofessional. However, they also concluded that Cheryl was attempting to discuss staffing assignments and did not intend to offend anyone again. Let me remind you, let's read that again, shall we? Cheryl said, real causes are fine, made up things are silly, in relation to Pride and obviously being gay. What the fuck, HR? That's insane. Because there was no evidence of malicious intent, again, shall we revert back to what she said? Oh my god, what the hell? Do you ever feel like you're going insane? I do often. Especially reading these. And because Cheryl has no prior disciplinary actions on file regarding this type of concern, she received a written warning and coaching from her supervisor. The part that really got people was HR's recommendation going forward. Rather than removing Cheryl from Pride-related activities, management decided that all staff participating in community outreach events will complete a short 3 hours cultural sensitivity training next Saturday. So, Cheryl got a write-up, but now everyone else has to sit through training too, and on mandatory overtime. The fact that mandatory and overtime would be put in a sentence together is ridiculous to me. Like, how can you force people to do overtime? That's crazy. If you're going to want people doing that, then you're going to have to do it within work hours. Like, what the hell? When Katie asked why Cheryl was still allowed to work the booth after making those comments, management said that they believed that this was a learning opportunity and that excluding her would be counterproductive. So, the employee Cheryl singled out gets to spend the Pride event working alongside the person who told her the event should be her responsibility simply because she's gay, and the rest of us sink a little further into a hole of regret for helping keep this monster alive in our office. Cheryl, meanwhile, has been telling people that she was cleared by HR and that the whole thing was just a misunderstanding. That's the thing as well. HR treating this so flippantly with someone like Cheryl just bolsters in her mind that her views and the way she treats people and whatever is perfectly okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's so frustrating. OP goes on to say, she's like a cat and has 9 freaking lives. Cheryl update that still infuriates 8 days after the last post. A lot of people ask for updates on Cheryl, so unfortunately I have one. For those unfamiliar, Cheryl is the co-worker who recently informed one of our gay employees that she should be doing most of the work for our agency's Pride booth because it was for your people. HR got involved after multiple complaints and we were all required to attend mandatory cultural sensitivity training today. You would think Cheryl would maybe lay low for a while? You would be wrong. Despite not being anyone's supervisor, Cheryl continues to act like she runs the place. She still inserts herself into decisions that have nothing to do with her job, tells people how they should be doing things, and generally behaves like she's management's special project. As for HR, they've apparently decided that checking a box is easier than actually addressing the behaviour. Their solution was to gather everyone into a room for a mandatory training, which somehow managed to punish the entire staff whilst accomplishing absolutely nothing. The highlight of the week happened during the training itself this morning. The facilitator was discussing respecting different backgrounds, experiences, and identities. Most of us were quietly listening and trying to get through it. Cheryl, however, seemed personally offended by the entire concept. She interrupted repeatedly, she argued over examples, she spent a good portion of the session explaining why people are too sensitive these days, and insisting that everything is offensive now. At one point, she loudly announced that she treats everyone the same, as if it was some profound contribution to a discussion about cultural awareness. Cheryl, just because you treat everyone the same doesn't mean that's a good thing. If you're treating everyone like shit, it's still bad. Even if you are treating everybody the same, you're still treating them all like shit. What the hell? The room got so uncomfortable you could practically hear people trying not to make eye contact. The best part was watching her confidently argue with the trainer about a topic she was literally attending training for because of her own behaviour. The lack of self-awareness was almost impressive. Yeah, but types like Cheryl think that the sun shines out their own bumholes and they never ever see that they're in the wrong. Clearly. Meanwhile, the employee who was actually targeted by Cheryl's comments sat through the entire thing with far more patience and professionalism than I would have managed. By the end of the training, HR probably considered it a success because everyone signed the attendance sheet. The rest of us left with the same Cheryl we walked in with. She's still acting like the boss, she's still entitled, she's still convinced she's the smartest person in every room, and HR is still treating her like a paperwork problem instead of an employee problem. At this point, I fully expect Cheryl to volunteer herself as next year's cultural sensitivity trainer. Honestly, yeah, probably. So, OOP made an update after the Boru posted. Thanks to Motherly Metal for letting me know. So this is the most recent one then, literally only a few days ago. So, update, Cheryl's Pride booth volunteering went as well as we feared. Remember Cheryl, HR's favourite learning opportunity? Oh, Cheryl, what have you done now, you silly sausage you? Well, our agency had a booth at the local Pride event this weekend, and she showed up. Even though we were all hoping she would have called in sick, none of us were optimistic about the outcome and took bets on how long she could go without saying or doing something inappropriate. Cheryl, along with the rest of the staff, completed approximately 12 hours of mandatory diversity trainings, and she had assured everyone she was much more aware now. I fear that the much more aware now just means she's much more aware of how really to sock it to everybody when she's trying to offend them. Oh god. The first awkward moment happened when Cheryl began what she described as respectful curiosity with a gay man who stopped by the booth. "So, when did you know you were gay?" Before he could fully answer, Cheryl followed up with, "What made you decide to become gay?" Cheryl, did you not listen to the training? I'm sure in there it would have said somewhere that these aren't things people just decide to do one day for funsies. And then, because apparently there are achievement levels in inappropriate conversations, "Have you ever really given women a fair chance?" Cheryl! What is wrong with you, mate? What is wrong with you? Are you sure you don't want to just try one more ham sandwich, my love? Oh my goodness, Cheryl. Just stop volunteering for these things. For the good of everybody, please. The poor guy looked like he was trying to calculate whether escaping into traffic would be easier than continuing the conversation. I am sure he was. That poor bloke. He just got caught in the crosshairs of Cheryl, bless him. Oh my goodness. Later, Cheryl met several transgender attendees and demonstrated her commitment to inclusion by consistently using wrong pronouns despite being politely corrected multiple times. Yeah, she's definitely doing this on purpose. There's no two ways about it. It doesn't take much for someone to go, "Oh, no, that's not what I use," and you go, "Oh, I am sorry," and then correct yourself. At one point, she referred to a transgender woman as he 3 separate times in less than 2 minutes. After being corrected, Cheryl smiled and said, "I'm trying. This stuff is just so confusing these days." It is not that confusing. If someone goes, "This is what I want to be called," it's so easy to just be like, "Okay, cool." Look how easy that was, Cheryl. Oh my goodness. And the fact as well that she's saying he means to me that Cheryl is talking about her to other people right in front of her face. Do you know what I mean? Because you wouldn't, if I was talking to you, I wouldn't be using he or she or whatever if I'm talking directly to you. That's not how it works. Do you know what I mean? For the record, the woman in question had long hair, makeup, a dress, a purse, and introduced herself using she, her pronouns. The only thing confusing was Cheryl's determination to turn every interaction into a pop quiz that she hadn't studied for. The rest of us spent most of the event performing damage control and redirecting conversations before Cheryl could ask anyone if they had considered trying the other team. Oh my goodness. I actually find it genuinely baffling the amount of effort Cheryl is putting in to just be the opposite of just a decent person. This is actual concentrated effort to be this dickish. I'm convinced of it. By the end of the day, our Pride booth was less community outreach and more a live demonstration of why HR needs to keep scheduling mandatory trainings. The good news is nobody filed a complaint. I mean, if I was the staff though, I'd be filing a complaint on the behalf of the people that came to the booth and just saying, "Look, this is what she was doing. We are a community mental health company. This is looking terribly on us. Open your friggin' eyes, everybody. Hello, HR, is anybody in there?" The bad news is Cheryl now considers the event a huge success because she asked a lot of questions and learned things. We're all terrified to find out what she learned. Yes. Edit. Instead of responding to each commenter, I'll respond here. Every co-worker has tried more times than we can count to redirect, educate, and change Cheryl's inappropriate behaviour and comments. We are not her superior. She answers to HR directly, as do we all, since we work in a satellite office. What does a satellite office mean? Detailed notes are taken endlessly and given to HR on Cheryl, but each time there are little to no real change. Does Cheryl know someone in HR personally? I feel that's the only reason Cheryl is getting away with all this stuff for as long as she has been. It's got to be. Because to me, if I was working in HR and I had numerous complaints over spanning years from staff saying that this person's not very nice, they're inappropriate, they do this, they do that, you'd think you'd take a closer look at it, wouldn't you, at least? But each time there are little to no real changes. Our agency has a system of discipline that is followed meticulously. For instance, she received coaching for her remarks made to our co-workers about how she should be doing the Pride event, planning, because it benefits her community, not Cheryl's. We were all made to attend mandatory cultural training to ensure HR covers the agency. If Cheryl's behaviour during the Pride event receives HR attention, it would again be a coaching due to it being a separate event. That's ridiculous. Like, what? It's near impossible for individuals like her that are mostly covert and live in a plausible deniability land to be fired. Every single time one of us has made retorts to her unsavoury comments and behaviours, we ourselves get HR attention. None of us want to become unemployed, so we do our jobs, alert HR to concerns, and do the best we can to survive her. Okay then, so that's the end of the Cheryl saga so far, but considering it is so recent, I'm really hoping we get updates to say that Cheryl's finally been fired. But that was a wild ride. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Cheryl needs to go. Cheryl is a nightmare. Cheryl is a scourge. What the hell? It's like, just, yeah, she's definitely an energy vampire. I am convinced of it. That's how she sustains herself. Do you guys ever see her eat or drink? No? Didn't think so. So down in the comments of the Best of Redditor Updates post, Glittering Wind 9677 says, I had a co-worker, Debbie, while working on a team of about 10 people who would laugh and joke about each other and themselves. A lot of it was self-deprecating humour. However, Debbie never, ever told a joke at her own expense, and really joked about one guy in particular. Someone said something funny that was aimed at her. She got really upset and went to HR, and we were told that we couldn't joke at her expense. Fine. It was annoying as all get out, so we decided when she was around, we would stop the bantering and be very businesslike. 2 days later, she went to HR again and said we were icing her out of the fun conversations. HR told her she couldn't have it both ways. It was such a relief when she left the company. Okay then, so I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. If you made it all the way to the end with me, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you give a little like, subscribe, notifications on, that is your initiation into the Common Void. Welcome. Whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. I'm about to go bury my face into a pillow because I can feel the nerve in my eye twinging, and I know that I'm about to get a migraine. Yay! Bye!